All right. Hi, I'm Zon the Daddy Dev. I'm joined again by Ruben. We're going to make a ton of these videos on his vacation because this is the best way to spend a vacation. It's making videos like this. He's gonna. I guess you're just gonna go through your projects, and we'll figure out like one thing to look at, and then just take it apart, right? Okay, so take it away, Ruben.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I
Sound
do
real
have
quick.
quite a few projects. Like the overwhelming majority are unfinished or, just experiments. I'm just looking at my itch.io page, and these are the ones that sort of made it, not all of them completely. And some of these are even Godot 2.1, so they're not even Godot 3.
To be honest, let's. I think we should just go with Godot 3. Unless
But
you want to, unless there's
no,
things that
no,
you
no, no,
feel that
no.
you can learn from, because that's true. Because like a lot of people don't want to look back at the old Godot stuff, but a lot of the old Godot stuff, like tutorials on YouTube, I find help me figure out stuff in Godot 3.
Yeah, I
You know what
mean,
I
lots
mean?
of things are pretty much the same. It's really not that different, especially if you're doing 2D stuff. So I have a fear of death of 3D. I can't really do anything 3D yet. So I'm sticking to 2D for now. And so in that sense, Godot 3 is actually really similar to Godot 2. I mean, there are some significant differences, but not really that many. And yeah, so I mean, I have here a bunch of projects that I want to just go through with you, and then maybe we can decide. We can decide something. What is this one? Okay,
Pachinko
so this
Inu
is
Inu
the,
Mighty Mo.
the pitch that I made for you for the London there. So,
Oh god, it's
so
so beautiful. It's snowing all over the place.
um,
That's so
yeah,
sorry.
the snow is a shader, for example, so it doesn't really affect so much the performance of the game. But this game, so what's special about this project is right the way that I made the shadows. I think we talked about this. We talked about this on the last one. But there's also like the little critter that follows you, and the fact that it follows you, it's using something called a steering mechanism, so that its motion is a little bit more natural. So instead of just going in a straight line to you, it has some physics there, some additional physics. So that's one way of doing enemies in a game like this. And there's also the turret that follows you, tracks you down, and tries to shoot you as best as possible. So these are
Well,
these are tiny
this
little things.
this is another thing though to ask though, because as you have, oh, just killed it. It was so cute. Here's the thing, like this could be interesting for doing an NPC. Like I've always
Uh,
debated about that, like having someone to follow you.
yeah, that well, there. I'm not. I wouldn't be sure to use this for an NPC. I tried actually, and I'll show you that using this as an NPC on a different project. So I'll show you some of the problems that exist when doing that. So yeah, this is one of the projects, and breaking down the steering mechanism is a thing. It's extremely useful to make enemies in games, and as you know, the turret bullets still can't affect my
I'm trying
my
to
main character.
I'm trying to look at her how you've animated the arm. So this is like it's interesting that you brought up the whole 3D thing because I've been doing the math for the type of like animations it would take me to do that are more detailed and versus if I made it 3D and then rendered to 2D. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like this is the breakdown. Yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve as far as like learning how to use Blender, but I think I can do it because I've had sculpting classes before, so it's like there's a little bit of transference there. But I did the math, and for me, if I finally make the rig and make the 3D animation or 3D character, I animate one run, and I've got every angle for that run. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's a time saver for me. But if I were to like animate every run in 8 directions to make a real top-down game, that would eventually take more time. Even though I'd be more comfortable with it, it would take me a lot longer to finish all the character animations I would need.
I think it
So,
depends on the art style that you're looking for. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more realistic, perhaps Blender is the way to go. Like pre-rendering stuff, like making a model in Blender and then rendering it. You do find some artists, especially if you go on Twitter, you do find some people who do, like they do the 3D model in Blender, and then they render it, and then they redraw everything just to have the art style that they want to. So they don't want a realistic art style, they want something more cartoonish like this one, and then they will draw everything again. So it really, yeah, it really depends on the art style that you're looking for.
You know, I was thinking about that too, but it's finding the right models for that as well. So you know what I mean? And then yeah, you're right, but then it goes back to you have to redraw everything. The other thing that got me too is that like I'm not the best with shaders, not just in Godot, but in Blender as well. And because I have a problem with the shaders, I can't get a good ink outline, you know, when I render. So I end up having to go back in Inkscape and having to redo lines, ironically, when I go that route. So that's why I'm debating about when I'm going to do like I'm going to try this like later tonight. I'm going to try to make a low poly mesh and use natural colors. And I should be able to make that thing pop, you know what I mean, against like a regular background. So I'm going to mess around with it. I think it's going to save me more time once I get over that learning curve. But anyway, that's just a side note. Sorry. I just wanted
Well, you know, I don't really believe in saving time. I mean, it's good and all if you want to do a game jam, that's fine. But if you want to do a game, I mean, saving time is probably not the best approach. Just do the best you can possibly can, I guess. I mean, it's really. I mean, you should see. There's a GDC talk about on like the guy that made Ori and the Blind Forest. You know this game?
Yes.
Oh, it has some of the most gorgeous animations, and it's done in a process similar to what I've told you. So he does the 3D models, and then he repaints everything, just because he wants that style, that very particular style.
Oh, that's interesting.
So he uses the model to get like a reference, and then does everything by hand. So it's a humongous amount of work, but the result is stunning, right? So,
no, I didn't realize that. I thought he just found a really clever engine.
Nope.
My naivety.
I think he actually does it by hand. Like he does, he didn't do it all by hand. He just pre-renders everything.
Did he? Wait, he that's not a is that a solo developer project though?
No.
Okay. He's the artist.
It's a team, but this is the artist.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Right. So next project. What is this? I have no idea what this is. This is again this girl, but it's probably not very interesting.
And how long did the girl take you to make? I mean, this is this is really cool. 10 minutes. Did you say 10 minutes?
20.
20. Oh, double the time. So here's the thing about like her and the arm. Did you just have a separate? It's a cutout arm, right? On top of.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find her. I think it's this one. So I'm using ASC Prite, which is not. It's not.
It's not
free.
open source.
It's not a free tool. It is open source actually. It is. And
what?
You can pull it off GitHub and compile it yourself.
Huh.
And I did that, but and then I used it for a while, and I liked it so much that I said, okay, I mean, this is a really good tool. The developers really deserve the money, so I bought it. So I thought it was worth buying it because it is a really cool tool. So you can get it for free. Just go on to GitHub. They have a website. They have a page on GitHub. You can download the whole thing, and you just need a few extra tools, and you can compile it yourself.
I bought it on Gumroad.
It's very easy to compile on Linux. It's a little bit trickier in Windows, but it can be done. And then you get it for free. It's fine. But and that's what I did. So I used it for free for maybe a month or so, and I said, okay, I mean, this is a really, really powerful tool.
They deserve the money. You're right.
They deserve the money, and
I
bought it. Yes,
it's like $16 or whatever. That's not even on sale.
Yeah. It's not the cheapest tool, but it's a lot cheaper than more professional tools, and you know, it's a really good one. Before this, I used to use Piscal. You know Piscal?
Yeah, I did, but the one thing this is gonna sound funny that pissed me off at Piscal is that it would erase my project sometimes or make them unreadable, and I was like, I'm done. Yeah, whatever build I had, I would have like months, or not months, like weeks of work. And it would reset me by not saving my progress, or I had a corrupt file, and I said, I'm done. I got to find something else. This is.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And multiple times, not like consistently breaking on me, doing this to me. That's okay. I'm done. There's a pattern here. I can't do this anymore. Ugh.
But yeah, this is the girl. There's a idle animation, and it's just it took me a little bit of time to figure out this the idle animation, because I'm trying to learn how to use subpixel animation, where you use small tricks to make it look like you move less than 1 pixel, and that's not the easiest thing. Then there's the run animation.
That's beautiful.
And then I have here a bunch of sprites just for the eyes, and the reason for this is that in that project, let's see, if I go back, right. So the player, I can put it here. So it has a rotate. So the animations, set of sprites, they're all the same. So I have here the body, and the body is basically, if I go back to, I see sprites somewhere. So the body is these frames, right, from 1 to 14. These are all the body animations, and then I have the eyes on the eyes separately. And the reason why I want that is because I have here an eye animation, and I just run this, and it every now and then it blinks the eyes, just turns them invisible. So it's not random blinking, but the animation is long enough that it
looks random.
It seems random, but it's not. So it's an easy trick to get blinking eyes, and that makes a difference in how realistic this animation is.
Now, do you draw at all? Did you sketch her out first before?
No.
You just went straight pixel. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I can't draw for shit. I can't draw for anything. Right. Then there's the shadow thing, which is dotted here, and then there's the gun. The gun itself is again another frame, the same thing. So this is the gun,
and it's attached to the arm. That makes sense.
And it's attached to the arm. So the gun, the only thing about the gun that's special, so in the rig, is that it's separate from the rest of the body, so you can rotate it, and the rotation pivot is here. So the sprite itself is offset to the right, and the rotation is outside the sprite. So what this does is that when you rotate it, it rotates around that point instead of the center of the sprite.
Right. That's so perfect.
You choose it in a way that you can still rotate a bit, and when it reaches this angle of rotation, then it flips
it, right? You know, the thing that's about this really cool is that this is kind of like she's a tank.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. Like she's like a tank, so that you could take like a Kids Can Code tank tutorial and make this and this.
Yeah. Yes, it's exactly the same rig. There's no difference. The only thing is I have here this really nice node, this position 2D node, and this is where I'm going to create instance bullets. So the problem is that when you're shooting, sometimes the bullets are at this angle, sometimes at that angle, so the bullets have to be instanced in a different place all the time. I killed it again. So I just put this position 2D, and when I have to instance a bullet, I'll put it right there, and just shoot from that point. So when you rotate the gun, the position 2D rotates with it. See, because it's a child node of the gun.
Do you do any? It's interesting. Do you do any like vibrations or anything when she fires the weapon? Is there any like?
Not yet. So what I meant to do is to do some screen shake. So the screen is supposed to shake. I didn't implement it yet. And there's a slight throwback. You see, you can move just by firing the gun.
Right. No, it's interesting because the way everything looks like, it looks like you already programmed like a kickback from the gun.
Yes, that's the idea. So I purposely programmed the kickback from the gun. I just didn't make any animations for it.
I mean to say, it looks like you animated the kickback.
No, I did not.
I know, that's what's great about it. It looks like you did. But you just programmed the kickback. You didn't animate the kickback.
This is just a lazy way of doing things very quickly. But yeah. I mean,
that's so cool.
Other details. I mean, there's the footprints on the snow, and they fade away with time. If you see, they just fade away. They're not supposed to stay there for a very long time.
Okay, so how did you? Okay, we had so much to do. Okay, so let's focus back on the NPC you keep killing, the cute little cat.
Okay, yes.
That's not even doing anything. It's not even trying to eat you.
Okay,
it's not trying to.
A cat. I call it a cat. I'm gonna do a little thing here very quickly. So I'm just gonna create more of them.
Okay, like do the cats do damage to the player?
Not yet.
Oh gosh, just.
So you can just make a bunch of them. They also have a little bit of a flocking behavior. So the problem with making lots of cats like this, and you have them chase the player, is that eventually they would all converge. They would just merge together into one sprite. And I can show you.
Meaning you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them, right?
I'll see if I can actually show you how this works. So
because they're still they're still in the scene. You just can't see them. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's
see if I can. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to disable the avoiding force just to show you how this looks like. Maybe can I do this? Would this be better for the code? Yeah, there we go. Avoid force is 0. Okay, so this basically cancels the avoiding force. So if I cancel that force and I run away sufficient number of times, you see the cats will eventually start to become just one. So they all just group together in one. Oh, there.
This is so adorable.
I made them faster than the player. So you have to
shoot them.
Run around. You have to run around to avoid them. They just can't turn as quickly as the player, but they're like, you see how they look like now?
Yeah.
They're just all aligned, and eventually they would become just one. So that's really not a very natural behavior. What happens is, if you're a cat and you're chasing the player, you also be aware of what's around you. So you're avoiding the other cats, and this is what it does. So each cat has an let's see if I can find a scene for this somewhere. I tried to be a little bit more organized in this project. So each cat has this area around it called the avoid area.
I see. So you do have collision detection. Okay.
Oh yeah, but it's a little bit different. This is this collision is just to find out, this area 2D is to find out if there are other cats around it.
That completely makes sense. Yeah.
It's just to find out if there are cats around it. So if you look at the code, what I do is I will, where is it? Okay, so I get that avoid area and get any overlapping areas. Right? And I use layers actually. So the cats are in one specific collision layer. So that means that all the cats are in the same layer. So the only overlapping areas that I get is cats. So that saves up a little bit of time. But then I used another thing, which is all of them are in a steering group. And what this does is it adds all the positions of all the cats that are around you with the overlapping areas, and then computes this avoid force, which means you run away towards the player, but you also run away from other cats. So when I do this,
I got a quick question really quick before you go further. When you mean layers, do you mean like image layers?
No, I mean collision layers.
Because you talked about this before when we were doing the game jam about layers and how they're time savers. So how do these collision layers work?
Right, so you have on each, like a kinematic body, I think all collision objects will have something like this. And all physics body actually. And they have this thing here called a layer and a mask. It's a collision layer and a mask layer. I don't know exactly which is which. I usually fail and then try a couple of times. But what I think is that layer is your layer. So if you are layer, in this case you are layer 1. This is layer 1 here. Okay. And the mask is the layers that you can collide with. So in this case you can collide with layer 1.
I see. Okay.
Now if I go to the cat is layer 2, and it can collide with layer 2. So it will never collide with a player.
Okay, I get where you're going with this.
So the reason for this is that I don't want them to collide. I don't want these kinematic bodies to collide between themselves. I only use usually in these games I only use the collisions to interact with the environment. So, for example, if I had a floor, if I have some sort of like an obstacle here. Let's see if I have anything here to be obstacle. Oh, I need a tree. Is this a tree? Ooh, this is. Not sure if this is gonna work. I can try and put it here. Let's put a tree here. This is this is supposed to be Random tree split. So this is supposed to be a randomly generated tree, ish. It's not really randomly generated. So the thing is, you're supposed to collide with the trees, but they don't have any collisions anymore. The idea is the cats can collide the trees. You can collide with the trees, but you can't collide with the cats.
Right.
So to do that, what I would do is the player can collide with I would say, okay, the trees will be the player's layer 1, the cat is layer 2, and the tree, I have it here, static body, so I would say, okay, the tree would be layer 3 actually.
And quick question, how come the tree here looks different than when you're in the scene itself?
As I said, these are randomly generated trees. So the randomly generated trees, they have a trunk, and then
the branches are random.
No, they select. I made a bunch of sprites for the trunk, a bunch of sprites for the branches, and then it selects randomly which sprites are which.
Okay.
But
okay.
I don't think it works very well, so it doesn't look that good. So it just selects random sprites for the trunks and random sprites for the trees. But I didn't like the final result very much, so I'm not gonna use it. It would look good if it wasn't pixel art. If it wasn't pixel art, it's supposed to look like this. Let me see if I can show you.
Careful not to play YouTube videos. Unless you owe them.
I can't?
Oh,
no, got this one.
Okay. Is that... Wait,
so
pause it. Oh, Jesus. We might be in violation right now. Okay, all right. I see it.
No, this is my video.
Oh, it is your video. Oh, thank God. Okay. Yes, play it all you want then.
Yeah, so this is my video, and these are randomly generated trees.
That
and they
is
even
gorgeous.
Move with the wind.
Oh my God.
So I tried to do the same thing with pixel art. It doesn't work as well.
Oh wait, so wait, is this vector then? Did you make vector trees or?
Yeah, these are polygons actually.
Oh, I see. That
So-
is really cool.
And they move with the wind and everything. So you create a wind variable just to create this thing. So I tried to do the same thing with pixel art. It didn't really work very well. But yeah, that's the idea with the randomly generated trees.
You know, I have a solution for you. If it's not working because of the way you did the branches, I would do like maybe whole sets of branches. That way, you know what I mean? So that way it's like instead of randomizing all the branches, you're only randomizing the top as a whole top. I don't know if you tried that at all, because like
Maybe. The problem here is the angles here. The random generator just decides randomly these angles here, and I just don't think they look very good.
No. So what I mean is make a set of like 2 or 3 branch sets. So don't randomize the position of the branches. Just randomize the entire top with like 20 sets or something, or 13 sets.
Yes. You're right. That's probably what needs to be done. I was just lazy.
I got you.
But yeah, you're right. So about the cats, now you can see they won't clutter together. So I put this avoid force here, and no matter what, they always act as if they were a pack.
God, they look so adorable. And you just shoot them. This is such a weird,
Yeah,
evil game. Look at. Okay.
Hey, I haven't put in blood yet, so that's good.
Well, it's family friendly right now, because at least in the
no,
United
it's still
States,
friendly.
you can kill animals, and if there's no blood, that's still considered family friendly content.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if they've changed that rating, but yeah. Non-humanoid characters can be killed all day long as there's no blood. It's still like family friendly.
But yeah, that's how the steering works. So there's a physics mechanism that makes the cats chase the player, and there's a physics mechanism that makes the cats move away from each other, and that makes it look like they're acting on a flock or flocking mechanism.
Fantastic. All right, so what we said we were going to do, because the first time we went about this, we didn't do breaks. So this will edit. We can edit for breaks, and we can break these up to a series of videos. I'm going to call this the end of part 1, I guess. And then we'll jump. So we'll jump in with part 2, and then I guess we'll talk more about how to set up the physics engine. Does that sound okay? I don't.
This is the first project. Look at how many Godots I have here open.
Well, what do you do? What do you want to do? Do you want to? We can't just make like an 8-hour epic video.
I don't know. I have no idea.
So we got at least break it in 20 minutes.
I mean, It has. There's this one. This is the one I've been working this week. There's this